This time of year there's lots of questions about humidity and how it affects your ukulele. If you aren't aware of it, low humidity can cause splitting of the wood in your ukulele, and it may not take very long at all for that to happen. So the first thing you need to do is to know if you have high humidity or low humidity or stable humidity in your home. And the way you do that, and it's a very cheap investment, is to buy one of these. This is a simple thermometer and humidity gauge for in your home. So over here you can see my the humidity gauge there. And set this where you put your ukuleles. Then you'll know what the humidity is right there. Now, one way I know in my home that I need to add my humidifier, get my humidifier out of the garage and start using it again, is my aquarium starts to evaporate a lot quicker. I do normal water changes in my aquarium, but when it starts to get winter and the air is more dry here in Minnesota, the tank evaporates a lot quicker, and so I need to bring in the humidifier for that. But I also keep an eye on that humidity gauge, and then you can balance the level of your humidifier, how much moisture it's actually contributing to your household air. There's a couple different varieties of humidifier for your home. Some of them are built into the furnace. You can have that done, but there's also a mist humidifier. What that does is propel water molecules out into the air, and from my experience what they do is they produce dust. If you use tap water in that humidifier, when it launches the water molecules out, any hard water deposits or hard water minerals you have in your water get launched out with it also, and you may find your house more dusty. That's the actual hard water minerals. In a wicking style humidifier, which is what I use, the minerals in the water stay trapped in the wick of the humidifier. There's still a fan in there that pulls air through that wick, and that's what evaporates the water out into the air. You need to rinse that wick every once in a while, and you also need to replace it. I replace it at least once a year, and I rinse it and wash it in vinegar to get rid of those mineral deposits. You'll be amazed at how quickly they'll accumulate. But I do that a couple of times a winter. Now, one thing I do for an in-case humidifier is I make my own. I have bought them in the past, and one that I have that I use is a violin humidifier. It goes right in the body cavity of the ukulele that I have. But I got an idea by watching Ukulele Underground. You know, the guys, the young people over there, they use a Pez dispenser, and they use florist foam for the body of the Pez dispenser to hold the moisture, and they drill a couple holes in there. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm closer, you know, I haven't bought a Pez dispenser in I don't know how long. I'm closer to the age of where I have more of these prescription bottles laying around. And what I do is I take a scissors, the ends of the prescription bottles already have kind of a dimple, and you can take the sharp point of good scissors. Don't let your wife see you do this or you might be in trouble. But you take your scissors and you poke it in here in that dimple, and you just work it in, and it goes in really easy because the plastic is soft, and at least the store I use, it's not brittle. It just goes in nice and smooth and drills a nice hole in there. I put one in the top and in the bottom, and what I use for the internal membrane is I buy this brand of sponge, and I'm not advertising for them necessarily, but I like the kind that says resists bacterial odor. I assume that if it resists bacterial odor, it also resists the bacteria that would cause those odors in the water, and that's a good thing. Now I take one of those sponges and I cut it in two. Now all I have to do is I roll this sponge up, I tuck it right inside that bottle. There you've got a humidifier. And the way I fill it full of water is I put my finger over the one end, I put it right underneath the tap, and I squish that sponge down until it can't hold anymore, and I shake it all out. Then I fill it full of water and I let it sit there for a little longer, and I shake it all out as much, you know, as loose, wipe it all down, put the cap on, and you're good to go. And what you can do is, if it's a ukulele you don't play very often, check on it every day or so just to see how the moisture is. I had one vintage one that I have done this for, and it's amazing how much better that uke has sounded once its humidity is picked up in there. And I don't have to fill them up very often. When your case is not opened and closed very often, it doesn't evaporate very fast because it doesn't need to. But check on them every once in a while. If your collection's getting too big, the way I do it, the way I assume is I need to play all of my ukuleles at least once a month. Now you may not think this is such a big deal, but if you have a favorite and that's the one you pick up every day, you may not pick up one for a long time. Get yourself in the closet and play all of them, and then while you're in there, check the humidifiers that you've tossed in the case. This is a real simple thing to make, really cheap. Costs maybe 40 cents to make one of these, and if you're like me, you've got a few of these around. If you don't have a few of these around, ask your mom or your grandma. They've got a ton of them. But buy one of these. This will tell you if you need a humidifier or not. Ukulele Tonya has a very good article on humidity if you want to get all scientific about it, and I'll put that link up on my bar, on the sidebar there for you to look at. But that's my advice on humidity. Buy a humidity gauge first, and then you'll be able to tell if you need any other humidifying equipment for your ukuleles.